So this is a story about Spark New Zealand standing by comments backing transgender activist Shaneel Lal in the face of social media boycott threats. So the original tweet or thread or whatever it was, I've got it up here somewhere as well. Shaneel said, "Dear threaders, can we agree that we won't tolerate TERFs on threads? They've made the lives of trans people living hell on almost all platforms. Let's not allow their hatred to poison this app too. Requested with love." So I read that, not to oversimplify it, as someone going, I think it would be really cool if we could have a place where we're not getting attacked. Like, I often put other words in. Let's say it was racism, right? Let's say it was people bandying about the N-word at people. Like for someone to say, could we please have in fact, let's just do that. Let's just reread this again. And I'll just put I won't say the N-word, but the N-word type idea in there. What would it sound like? Dear threaders, can we agree that we won't tolerate racists on threads? They've made the lives of African American people living hell on almost all platforms. Let's not allow their hatred to poison this app too. Requested with love. Would anyone have a problem with that, Chewy? Would anyone have a problem with me putting those different words in there if that's what someone was asking?
No.
So if no one's got a problem with that, what is the problem with asking people to not attack the trans community on this? So basically he's requesting they, I'm not sure of Shaneel's pronouns, to be honest, are requesting a safer space, to be safe and be able to be not attacked. That's the request. So what happened after that, obviously, is Spark, and you've probably heard of this whole story. Spark came out and they said, yep, we're on board. We love it. We know what we're going to do. We're joining on board. We support you in this. And then that caused, thank you, Emma, I wasn't entirely sure. That caused a bit of a melee and a bit of a storm of conversation. It says it in his signature, in their signature right there. And it went on through the whole weekend. 2 Degrees joins One New Zealand and Spark New Zealand, standing in solidarity with transgender New Zealanders against bigotry. Super stoked to see 2 Degrees has joined One New Zealand and Spark New Zealand and standing in solidarity with transgender New Zealanders. 2 Degrees has a history of supporting queer charities and support queer youth, and it's heartwarming to see them continue their amazing work. So it started with Spark, it went to 2 Degrees, it also went to One New Zealand, which is Vodafone, supporting queer and transgender New Zealanders for a community that constantly under attack. These moments allow us to sigh relief. There is no place for bigotry in our country, and I'm grateful you stand by that. Which, of course, when someone's saying, can we just have a little bit of safety and not feel constantly attacked by people, saying we don't need the same rights, we shouldn't exist, whatever way that's worded. I had the same amount of people coming out, the usual suspects. So Bob McCoskey comes out. Could you confirm this is your official stance? They're asking Spark New Zealand. Many families who are currently your customers would like to know. And Family First New Zealand, here is the answer from Spark to their support for the derogatory label of TERF's team. TERF is a woman who believes in biology and only women can be women. Radical, eh? So Spark has said, we stand by our response, responding directly to Bob McCroskey, to Shaneel Lal on threads. We will continue to support the rights of trans and non-binary people, and we will not be interested in discussing this further. So they've made a pretty clear conversation. Now, some people might argue, and I think I would be one of those ones, that there was a bit of storm about this, and then Spark came out and kind of seemed to both sides it a little bit with their statement. They made an official statement. But in the mostly, they seem to be supportive and get behind it. Other lunatics got involved with putting things out there, like I did. One of the things I said was hilarious that the group of people who all cry foul about being cancelled are currently trying to cancel Spark New Zealand, One New Zealand, and anyone else who agrees with the concept of social media platform where people can be safe from attacks. Because that's all it was: be safe from attacks. Now, here's the thing, right? And then I'll stop my rant. Most of the pushback I got, and it was pretty big, quite a lot of, for me at least anyways, there's quite a lot of interaction on that tweet, was people saying, who is trying to cancel Spark? I've left as they don't share my values. And my response was, their values, that they want an online platform where you don't get abused. What an adorable thing to push back against. That was basically the pushback was, we're not trying to cancel them. We're not trying to cancel them. Now, I don't know whether these people aren't smart enough to understand that this is what they define as cancel culture, or They're just choosing to ignore it. However, one of their priests, his name is Jonathan Ailing. He's from the Free Speech Union. He agrees with me that these people are trying to cancel Spark. So I know that the Free Speech Union are going to try and say we're about free speech and nothing else. Bullshit. Most, if not all, no, you can't say all, there's always the exception, most of their talking points, and you can hear it in this, that he doesn't defend Shaneel Lal's right to free speech. He calls him censorial. He's trying to censor. Whereas actually, he's just using free speech. So he doesn't defend Shaneel Lal's free speech here, but he does go on to admit that people trying to get away from Spark are participating in cancel culture. So we'll give him some credit for that. Have a listen.
This whole saga illustrates the fundamental silliness of censorship and boycotts. Because what happened was Shaneel Lal came out and said, let's make this a space where we don't tolerate people who think differently to us on.
So that's not what he did. We don't tolerate people who think differently to us. So this is the thing.
You weaselly little bastard.
This is why I'm saying that the Free Speech Union is not about free speech. It's a my opinion. It's a bit of a psyop or a front or a cover to help push right-wing talking points. And some people have fallen for it. Some people on the left have fallen for it because it's not what he asked for. I'll play it again.
We don't tolerate people who think differently to us on this issue.
No, he didn't ask for he didn't say we don't tolerate people. He said, they said, I don't want to be attacked constantly. Transgender people just don't want to be attacked. That's it. That's got nothing to do with we can have an agreeable disagreement. It's like we don't want to be attacked constantly by these group of people. That's what he was asking for. We'll go on.
And in response to, a fundamentally censorious position. In response.
So that's the thing. So he's accused Shaneel Lal of being a censor. He didn't defend Shaneel's, free speech there as a free speech union. He's basically said what he said was wrong. Hang on, free speech union? Anyway, but we'll go on because he makes a point. And if one of their priests is actually agreeing with me about cancel culture, then people like Bob McCroskey, who also tried to explain how it's not cancel culture, might have to check their facts.
To that many people are trying to boycott Spark without ever really considering the fact that one, NZ, which is, formerly Vodafone, and 2 Degrees are also both
Rainbow Tick, part of the protection racket that is Rainbow Tick, yeah.
Oh, and so this illustrates, it is a form of cancel culture itself.
There you go.
And I find it ironic because probably many of the people who are cancelling their accounts with Spark right now are those that decry cancel culture the most. And I agree with them. Cancel culture is pernicious. It is a cancer in our society, and we don't want to give it a dime. And so why now, when it aligns with our values, supposedly, would suddenly make it all right? It doesn't. Cancel culture doesn't fix the issue. It perpetrates division and hostility.
Now, let me just say as well, cancel culture is not a real thing. I mean, people like Sean Plunkett will say he got cancelled off Magic FM. Magic FM made a corporate decision that they didn't want to work with him anymore. But that's cancel culture, right? That's cancel culture. But then telling people that they're going to boycott Spark is not cancel culture. It's either all cancel culture or there's none of it. I don't actually particularly buy into the idea of cancel culture. My point was just simply these people who often cry cancel culture are now trying to cancel Spark. One last thing from me, Joe, and I've been talking for too long. I just thought I had a bit of an idea to help everybody. This is just an idea to help everybody. And my idea was this. I wonder how long it will be until Elon buys Skinny Mobile to provide a new safe space for those who have been offended recently by Spark New Zealand and others. I thought that might be a solution. That Elon could buy Skinny and then everyone would be happy because they could all go there and it wouldn't be a problem. Just an idea, just a thought. But there you go, Sarah. I've set it out for you and now you can knock it down if you want.
I'm just going to preface this by I apologize ahead of time for my harsh descriptive language.
There's over 50 comments in the thing that we haven't even got to. Yep, go.
Yep. Jonathan is a dingus. I'm sorry. I try to moderate my language more than that, but he's a dingus. Yeah. Like, how can he say that the cancel culture, or what it actually is, a boycott, doesn't work? Because the reason it's got a fucking name is because it does. And even then, if you want to name it cancel culture, that's fine. People just don't want to spend money with something that doesn't share their values. Now, in this case, I encourage them to. I work for one of those telco companies, And you should have heard me when I saw our collective social media teams charge bravely into battle and knowing, oh, guys, this is great stuff. Yes, cool. All the TERFs are going, oh, well, we're going to take our business to Vodafone. Vodafone comes in off the top rope going, we don't want you either. And then I waited for 2 degrees because I know how proud they are of the rainbow tick. I know how vocal they are about it. And I know that we work with so many different organizations that I was just waiting for them to come in and add to the pile. And that's cool. No telco for TERFs. That should be the thing that we agree.
A t-shirt. A
hashtag, whatever you want to do. If you're a TERF, don't use a phone. It's fine. It's better for all of us. What I did want to comment on is that third statement from Spark where they go, oh, maybe our social media teams have overreached here and gone a little bit too hot. And they kind of backpedal a little bit.
A little bit of both sidesing it.
Yeah. They cleaned up the language. They ran it past the lawyers. They put it on a purple background. Boom. This is what Bud Light's problem was.
Yeah.
Is that they pushed and then they didn't like the push back.
Yep.
And then when you give ground, nobody's happy.
Yep.
So the people that thought they had an ally in Spark now don't, or at least see that it's not as firm an ally as they would have hoped. You know? And look, you can have a whole argument over, look, it's a corporation. They don't care. You know? And never think that a corporation is your friend, because they're not. But if it's in their best interests to support you, if they know that there's more people that are like, you know, we're not for this bigotry, we're not for this particular group being absolutely hounded everywhere they go, then they'll follow where the money is.
Yeah.
But the whole idea of relying on a boycott is that you have to know that you have your numbers, and these guys are in such an echo chamber that they don't. They don't have the numbers, but they've been emboldened. You can see on the hashtags that they used on Twitter is that they were tagging in the Bud Light movement.
Yeah.
Because they'd just seen that work. So they're like, aha! But New Zealand is not America. And a telco company is not a beer company. It's a completely different issue.
Yeah, certainly not a beer company. With a history, a telco company doesn't have a history of, say, middle class farmers and nothing else like Bud Light does. You know, like middle class white Americans and working class Americans. That's not telcos. In fact, you probably find the people who spend the most on telcos would probably be more progressive and upwardly mobile. City dwellers would probably spend a far higher proportion on telcos than the dusty whites, as Dave Chappelle would say.
Yep. And I would say one other thing, and when we're talking about things that have worked overseas, when we're talking about the trans issue, people have very clearly tried to peel off trans people from the LGBTQ plus community. And it's that old thing, divide and conquer. You know, you've got these people that say, "Oh no, we're just concerned about the trans issue. We're not talking about gay and lesbians and all of the other ones. They're fine. We're cool with these ones. We're not cool with this one because there's bullshit reason that we'll come off. If they're going to peel one group off, they'll come for the rest.
Yeah,
yes. You're going to stand together with that community, with that vulnerable community, and that's my position. That's my personal position."
There was no one left to fight for me. That poem. There was no one left to fight for me.
Absolutely, but that worked in England. That they were able to split the tea off. And you've seen that England is now a hotbed of anti-trans activity, and it bleeds out onto everybody else. So yeah, that's my piece.